Hello everyone, this is Rambode. I'm joined here by JBL today,
How's it going, everyone?
and we're gonna record Endill versus Three Blades for the first round of the Jimothy Invitationals. I'm excited to see how the match goes.
From a personal note, Mielke was the first player that I ever played in a tournament, and I kind of got rocked by like a Soul Rock team. I think he wasn't taking it all that seriously against round one me. But after the game, I reached out to him, and he was able to like give me a lot of tips on what I did right and what I did wrong, and found that really helpful. So consider that a PSA to all of you. Top players are just like you, and they're very friendly and willing to help you out and help you improve.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. Mielke tutored me for like 3 months. He's a great guy.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, Gengar versus...
Starting off with a...
Yeah, that's not a very usual lead matchup. Probably Hypnogar?
Yeah, that would make sense. Doubles back in the Gar as Endill goes to Celebi. A lot of switches here, fighting for positioning.
Yeah, but Baton Pass does give a bit of a positioning advantage. Okay, Dragon Dances.
So this is a big turn, I feel. Ooh, the Earthquake just misses the KO, and Metagross returns the favor. Drops Tyranitar.
It's fine, Magneton's gonna clean it.
So what's the switch in? Celebi does seem like it's a safe switch into Magneton. I don't think there's anything Mag can do to Celebi, and that's a calm-minded Celebi too.
Oh, is it a CMPS team? It is. With Mag. That's interesting. It's usually Doug as a trapper.
Boom. Kind of a brave boom from Endill that he could have... I guess he probably wouldn't have CM passed to the Gengar there. But we are back to 4-on-4, and I wonder what's last for Mielke. If it's a CM pass team, something special offense-y, maybe Zaptose. Not really sure.
Maybe Raikou even?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I was gonna mention Endill could have SD pass with that DP Celebi and Magneton, and yeah, that substitute Aerodactyl just furthers that point.
That's a pretty good Ice Punch there by Gengar, actually. If he had gone for like a Will-O-Wisp or a Hypnosis there, that would be pretty tough to come back from, with Aerodactyl getting a free Rock Slide against a team that it seems like Metagross was his only Rock Resist, if we assume that there's a Raikou or Zapdos in the back, so pretty heads-up play.
Yeah. They usually rely on Suicune as a secondary rock check, but it doesn't really... It usually tries to out-offense, you know? Yeah, it's SD pass.
So Celebi's staring each other down, boosting in perpendicular.
Oh, I wonder if Suicune has
Swampert
HP
from
Grass.
Endill.
Oh, it doesn't.
You think he has it? Maybe the Zapdos would drop HP Grass, or the Suicune.
Ooh,
Sorry,
that's
that didn't
rough.
really make sense. Never mind.
No, it's just that usually Suicune can run HP Grass on CMPS teams. Oh, that's a really rough Swampert to switch into.
And that is, in fact, Hypnosis Gengar, as the lead suggested.
Yeah, and the fact that it's paralyzed and low means it doesn't really check Aerodactyl anymore, so Aerodactyl is very threatening here now.
Wow, and he just gives up the Celebi. Kind of makes sense. If you switch to the Suicune, you maybe risk it getting a little bit too low. So we are back to 3v3, and Swampert, the sleeping Swampert, is in. Instant wake up, but the Earthquake is gonna whiff into this Zapdos, which maybe has Hidden Power Grass.
Yeah.
Yep, that presumably is Hidden Power Grass.
Yeah, the Celebi is also very strong now.
It's actually kind of interesting that the Gengar is paralyzed, and it's almost advantageous because he can click Ice Punch, and deny Celebi the slow SD pass to Aerodactyl.
Yeah, that is true. In this position, it can be, but I don't really think you need to SD pass to Arrow, because Arrow can just come in later and just like sub, you know.
That's true. You still probably need a couple of hits to get through this Suicune, which is relatively healthy here.
Yeah, for sure. So you can use Endill, Mielke's biggest. Oh, another freeze on Celebi.
It's pretty tough. He just keeps clicking Ice Beam here, right? Oh, that wasn't a natural cure thaw. He just thawed. And on the Calm Mind from Suicune.
Asleep.
Swampert gonna wake? No.
Oh, can Suicune do it?
Yeah, so this is gonna come down to flinch probably. Can Aerodactyl get the flinch? Maybe a little bit of Celebi chip. Maybe that's like in power rock. Or,
yeah, it's probably rock if it's SD pass.
So here's the substitute. And it just comes down to this. I guess we'll see if he hits all his rock slides, but
oh, that's rough.
That's likely gonna do it. Hidden Power Fly finishes off the Suicune, and now he just has to hit the the Rock Slide on the Zapdos.
Oh, goes to Gengar.
90% chance here. What's gonna happen? Oh. Is there any world in which he pressure stalls? There's no way. He has plenty of rock slides.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I thought the Gengar switch was a little odd. Doesn't really matter that much. It's already very rough for Mielke.
Kind of came down to the flinch and the coin flips. I noticed it was kind of interesting that Gengar went for a Hypnosis on a burned Magneton. I'm not sure what he was going for there. Getting that Gengar paralyzed had a pretty profound implication on the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think he really wanted to try to sleep something else, thinking Endill might try to conserve his Magneton.
Let's move on to game 2. Bit more of a standard lead. Tyranitar on Metagross.
Yeah, both have to... Ooh! Gets the
wow,
double.
What a sick play by Mielke.
Yeah, he probably
that's no spikes for you, Endill.
Yeah, and that seems like a super manifest Flygon on Skarmory, which really wants spikes to help pressure. So, yeah, especially against some Melodic. I'm guessing Mielke figured Endill wasn't gonna risk the mash. Probably maybe a scout thing. He knew that he'd go Skarmory.
Yeah, interesting that he does go Skarmory, even as that also could have been a Houdini, which also would have taken out the Skarmory, but this way it's to keep full health on pretty much everything. And if this is Refresh Milo, he's going to have a really hard time breaking it. Yep, there it is. So lands the Toxic. Starmie with Thunderbolt, I would guess, doesn't seriously threaten Milo without some hacks, which is obviously possible. Milo is known as a hacks magnet for how passive it is.
Yeah. And that's another thing that not having spikes really hurts, because Milo can do way better against Starmie if it doesn't have to switch into one or more layers. Oh, burn on the meta.
That was a great Will-O-Wisp. Not afraid of a Celebi Psychic.
Ooh.
The Celebi's, the Tyranitar Dark type sort of protects the Celebi, where Mielke might not want to Psychic into the Tyranitar and invite some kind of Dragon Dance.
Yeah, though it's probably Pursuit, and that's the standard for Superman, because it hates facing Gengar. Though maybe with Starmie you don't really need it. I don't know. You can just spam Leech Seed.
That was a nice Leech Seed play there, although it missed, but we're going to get the substitute Flygon. Ultimately, unless something crazy happens, I imagine the Flygon will eventually be switched out, and we're going to see if there's anything in the back from Endill that can really threaten the Milo.
Yeah, the closest thing for now seems to be Gengar with either Taunt and Thunderbolt. Oh, but it takes half of the switch, or Explosion. But it already... Yeah, I can just go Magneton to check it. It's probably Taunt if it's Wisp. But you can just go Magneton and check it. And yeah, you go Flagon, but yeah, you can even Toxic. Like, okay, you're not gonna do anything on the Milotic, for example.
Yeah, there's no chance that Toxic is ever going away on Flygon, so that's on a timer. Back to Magneton. Being this far ahead, it feels like Mielke can just play pretty safely.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that was kind of a... I guess it would be crazy for Gengar to Thunderbolt the Magneton, but that was a double switch to Milo on the Flygon that maybe he didn't need. I feel Celebi was also safe there.
Yeah, maybe, but some this one probably not, but some Flygon run HP bug, but this one probably doesn't. But I wouldn't be surprised if this defensive, which I'm guessing is defensive Gengar did like less than half to Milotic, you know, with Thunderbolt.
Yeah, it makes sense. So there's a Focus Punch, maybe expecting the Milo there.
Yeah, probably expecting Celebi to switch while fearing HP bug, which, yeah, there it is.
Wow, this has been expertly played by Mielke. It feels like he's kind of had all the reads all game.
Yeah, it was a very straightforward game after the great Magneton trap on Skarmory.
Yeah, rips the explosion, but not really hitting its intended target.
In what seems to be maybe a Dragon Dance elements. Just maybe another threat to worry about if having to break Milo wasn't enough.
That's Jirachi. I mean, can be threatening, I suppose, with the right coverage.
Yeah, and
it can do
the
something.
right hacks.
Yeah. Yeah, Jirachi, I mean, Arrow did it last game. Maybe Jirachi can do it this game, but no, probably not.
Yeah, no.
There's the Earthquake.
There's no Iron Head for Jirachi, but it's still a Hexamon here.
And then probably a cleanup with the Brick Break right here.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Ooh, even Earthquake would have done it, but yeah, Brick Break does it even faster. So we got a game 3. That's pretty hype.
Yeah.
Let's see who wins it.
See Zapdos into Tyranitar. And wow, interesting clicks. We have a Fire Blast maybe predicting Skarmory Fortress, something like that. And a couple of substitutes. This Zapdos health kind of getting whittled away just for the sake of scouting the Tyranitar.
Yeah, the first sub was... sorry, the second sub was a little weird, I think, but they're better players than I am.
Yeah. Yeah, once you see the Fire Blast and the Crunch, maybe Blissey becomes a bit safer. You just wonder if you feel like you got red on turn 2 of the prior game and essentially lost it. Maybe you play game 3 a little bit differently, try to get Mielke out of your head.
Yeah, makes sense. Speaking of Fori.
So usually, I would think Fori wins this matchup, although the Drill Pecks are going to slowly add up on the Fortress.
Yeah, that's how you gotta play the matchup. Okay, I'm guessing that there's a spinner from Endill if he's so fine with... counter? If he's so fine with letting Fori spike on him. Especially because he has a Blissey.
Yeah, maybe Claydol, maybe Starmie. This Charizard's going to be pretty threatening. We'll see what kind of coverage it has. Probably clicking Substitute here. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if Starmie can spin here, because I think it dies to an HP. Oh, it's Death Me. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah.
Just barely hangs on, and then here once again, do you spin or do you surf? Very nice spin there.
Odd switch. But
Yeah, wow. So the Tyranitar, kind of expected it to have something up its sleeve there, but the surf is just enough to take it. I wonder if maybe he thought it was a Def Me, but maybe it had some offensive investment and just had like the Def Me moveset.
yeah, maybe. Cause he is probably pursued with Fortress and Crunch Reveal, so maybe he tried to pursue trap it. That's my guess, because it was very low already.
Yeah, the last set I commentated, we saw, I think it was Voyager with an Endure Salac Pursuit Tyranitar that did successfully trap a Starmie that way.
Yeah.
Well, the Doug Trio is in and just as quickly out on the Blissey.
Yeah, it can trap a full HP Blissey. Quagsire! Hell yeah.
Wow. So, Quagsire is sort of like it's sort of like a Swampert with Water Absorb and worse stats across the board.
Yeah.
Probably we'll see. Ooh, there's a big crit on that surf. Another would probably take out the Skarm. But yeah, anyways, the Quagsire I'd say typically runs Curse Rest and then Earthquake, maybe Surf or Ice Beam, whatever the team needs.
Yeah, it's usually used with Fortress teams to, well, when it is used, of course, it's not a very common one, but it's usually used with Fortress to help with Suicune matchups, like especially like the Mono Water stuff.
Yeah, well, Endill has done a better job of keeping health on his Spiker. Oh
Never
my
mind,
goodness, as I
jinxed
say
it.
that, commentator curse there. So one Spike might be all that we have. It's hard to see the low health Fortress getting rid of that Spike.
Yeah, I don't think it outspeeds even Swampert, so I think that Spike is there to stay. Oh, it's Refresh Swampert
Wow.
too.
Toxic, refresh. Oh, but there's the recover. Swampert doesn't get that. That's like that Borat meme with him and his neighbor. You get toxic, I get toxic. You get refresh, I get refresh. I get recover. You have to switch out.
A very close game so far.
Yeah, not clear who has the advantage. There's probably going to be just one Spike on the
Oh,
field.
yeah.
Zapdos comes in. You have to believe he just goes Blissey, but that Milo probably wishes it could have recovered and or refreshed. So pretty good job by Endill keeping the pressure on with that.
Yeah. And you can't go Doug here because you're afraid of Ice Beam on those Zapdos. So yeah, you go Swampert.
Oh, and which one's faster? It looks like the Milo's faster, so might be able to get a recover off. Yep.
But Blissey gets the Calm Mind.
I'll mind Blissey. That looks pretty threatening here.
Especially with that Toxic Miss. Oh, that's rough.
Down goes the Milo. So maybe Blissey just has to come back in and
Well, it's also Cyan Blissey from Mielke. That's interesting.
yeah. Would not be all that surprised. Oh, nice Fortress on the Toxic. Which one is faster?
It was Swampert.
Okay. Maybe just that whole sequence was to bait in the Surf and the Water Absorb, and we'll see if Quagsire can get it done here.
I wonder if the Zapdos is HP Grass if it isn't, Quagsire actually seems very threatening here.
Yeah, has to mix up the clicks between Ice Beam and Earthquake. You don't want the Earthquake to let the Zapdos in for free, but there, as I say that, you're gonna rest, and now Zapdos probably just comes in, and this Quagsire has to go out.
Oh, Charizard on the HP grass. That's bold, but actually not that risky if you think about it.
Yeah, did he already know that the Charizard was faster than the Zapdos there?
Great question.
Maybe, but big Focus Punch, and doesn't take Blissey out. Here's a question, does he Focus Punch again?
No, I wonder
No, good thing he didn't.
I wonder if a Blaze boosted Fire Blast would have killed Blissey there. I don't think so, but maybe.
Yeah, have to believe he calced it, or if he didn't, then he's more comfortable with this Blissey on Blissey line. Kind of feels like if the Quagsire can't get back into position, then we're going to see some Blissey on Blissey action.
Which would probably come down to a crit.
Yeah, crit or freeze, or probably not Paraluck. And the Zapdos, I guess, is just going to come in anytime the Quagsire's in.
Yeah, Mielke seems to be trying to freeze this Blissey for some free turns, maybe.
Yeah, here it is. There's not really anything else to go for. I think if you try to get the Quagsire boosted, oh, there's a crit, but not going to do enough. If you try to get the Quagsire boosted, the Zapdos comes in, and then you kind of have a 50-50 on Thunderbolt versus Hidden Power Grass, and that could end badly for Mielke there.
Yeah. I believe he tried to catch Zapdos there without losing Ice Beam PP.
Yeah, so the Toxic does force these Blisseys out. Neither of them is going to carry Aromatherapy or Heal Bell. It's going to be, I think it's probably revealed for both sides. Calm Mind, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Soft Boiled.
Yeah, it's the usual Calm Mind, Blissey said. Although I think no, it's not Calm Mind. Sorry, I was gonna mention that I've seen HP Grass Blissey before, but it's not Calm Mind, I think.
Yeah, that would be a rude surprise for this Quagsire for the Swampert. So we are on turn 74, and we got Blissey's Calm Minding. This isn't peak ADV gaming. I don't know what is.
Yeah, just a Calm Mind war, see who crits first. Skill-based gameplay, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, game 2 is decisive, but it looks like games 1 and 3 are going to end in the classic coin flips.
Yeah, at this point, Ice Beam from Blissey probably two-shots both Quagsire and Swampert, so...
Yeah,
it really is
once
down
you get to a certain point, there's no going back.
Yeah, unless... Okay, maybe Endill can chip Mielke's Blissey down to like, and then go do like a very bold Dug switch to trap it, maybe.
Oh, that's an interesting play. That's
Oh,
there's the Ice Beam freeze.
yeah, or you can just freeze.
I was gonna
and
say
then
that's
go Dug.
among.
Or not.
Yeah, I wonder what the Ice Beam PP situation is, because if Mielke runs out of Ice Beam, then the Dug switch is very much on the table. So it's not exactly a 50-50. It's actually probably more in Endill's favor with that calculated. Not to mention, this Blissey needs to thaw.
Yeah, it's not thawing. It's very... Okay, there it is.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, it is a 20% chance to thaw every turn, and there's no conditional probability in that. So you could stay frozen indefinitely if you keep on hitting the 80% rolls. But as I say that, we got healthy Blissies. Oh, I did it again.
Yeah, and Mielke forfeits. Endill even says this was one of their worst games of all time.
Yeah, very tight set, and a very ADV one. I still think they both brought really interesting teams. They both played really well, both playing to their outs, identifying pretty relatively early on that this game was probably going to end exactly as it did, with one Blissey critting another Blissey. But still a very entertaining set of games to watch and commentate, and I hope that all of you at home enjoyed.
Yeah, I agree. I think that game 3 was very cool until the Blissey versus Blissey part.
Yeah, that's true. There were very interesting interactions. The Charizard put up a lot of pressure that Endill handled pretty well, and then the Skarmory against the Fortress doing battle, seeing who won the Spike War.
So yeah, that was it. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and looking forward to seeing you at another set.